that Zoom allows that YouTube integration. We're not leaving Zoom, but we're able to go to YouTube Live, and it's redirecting. And of course, there's going to be some type of delay when we view it. A few seconds. For someone just viewing it, they wouldn't notice. Again, for some other applications, those few seconds are invaluable. Okay, so we're ready for that. So let's go to our session, and you should be able to see it, right? And now I need to share my screen. Let's see if it will share. Perfect. And now stop sharing for a second. Let me just change my view here too. Share. Okay, so Julie, do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you see my YouTube? Julie?
No, I just see like the word or like your files or
Okay. Well, I need to stop sharing. Try again. Where? You see my YouTube screen now,
yeah.
Julie? Okay.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that we need to know is we have to see what I see versus what you see, whether you see the same thing. So I see that everyone is here. I can go to my assignments here and Anastasia, why don't I see February 11th assignment?
I'm trying to upload it right now. Blackboard's being a little glitchy.
Okay, it was not there before?
It was, and then it got deleted because Blackboard had a glitch happening something earlier today. But I'm
Oh,
putting it
okay.
up right now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We'll go over the other things. That's fine.
Mhm.
So let me know when it's up. So today was our assignment, our digital assignment group assignment. It was, we needed to worry about software, the tech guide software. And last time we spent some time finding out how much RAM and secondary storage hard drive you had. We know the differences is RAM another random access memory. That's where the software applications, when we use them, are copied to. Secondary storage is where my files are stored. RAM is what we called volatile, that it can be erased. Secondary storage is more permanent. Okay, so we went through the what's due. We see on the Wiley and adaptive, we want to make sure on the PowerPoints, what you can see here is on the PowerPoints, we have the chapters on software as well. And you can download that anytime you want to study for the exams. And also we have the readings and the quizzes. Okay. And on the PowerPoints, what's important is the difference between an operating system versus an application software. You're going to need to know this, and we're going to need to know this. And our question always, Sully, is who cares and why, right? So we're going to be able to know what's the difference between system software and application software. And when we talk about software, we talk about which are instructions given to the hardware to implement, and those computer programs are basically the process of writing or coding programs versus the programming are individuals who program. And guess what, Sully? All of this area of programming, documentations, computer programs is changing because of what? Because of AI, right, Sully? If you think about
Yes.
AI now has what they call, have you ever heard of it, no code or vibe coding? It's basically people that don't know how to code can ask it. It's almost like prompting, and it can write code for you. And it can create, there's a number of different software programs out there that can create entire systems for someone that doesn't know or is as a novice in doing it. And those that are more experienced, they can use these tools to help them, and they can become more efficient. So the question is, who cares? The question is, a lot of times, Sully, what's your major?
I'm an entrepreneurship major.
So perfect. An entrepreneur, and you need to get a tech staff to help you. You could have less people, yet you needed for the text your group to help you with the aid of this programming. A lot of times you could ask for, even go out for venture capital, you could ask for less of it because you know you don't have as many expenses because the AI software will help you with your ideas. So all of this is changing in a rapid fashion. And if you think about it, let me just share this with you. If I go, everybody go, remember I told you to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal? So if you subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, the first thing that they're talking about in the Wall Street Journal is NASDAQ extends fall as tech shares slide. And the question is why are tech shares, which were going through the roof in the past couple of years, is down as chip stocks became under pressure and concerns lingered about potential AI disruption in software companies. So if I wanted you always to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, and what I like is under tech, if you look at their AI topics, that we can be so current. And that's the problem with all the books and art, is that everything changes so quickly. In the market talk, you can think about it. For instance, Microsoft's pivotal AI product called Copilot is running into big problems. And this article right here, you see this article, what you need to know about AI models, rattling markets. I'd like you to read this for next week. And basically, this article lets us know that what we need to know about the AI models is, look at this, rapidly expanding artificial intelligence capabilities help erase, in this case, Isabella, how much money on Tuesday?
300 billion.
That's a couple of change, right? Right there, right? $300 billion in market value. So when you think about it, why would it erase so much? And what's interesting here is that artificial intelligence are improving so much that creative fears that, look at this, Julie, AI could do what? It could supplant traditional software and services. So what they're saying is Anthropic is a competitor of OpenAI, and what their competing offerings from they can perform then array of functions with minimal instruction, operating with relative autonomy on the user's computer. So Anthropic has a new legal tool that, guess what, Julie? Instead of an attorney, it can review contracts, perform other industry-specific functions, and in this case, be a plugin for finance, customer service, and other areas. Julie, what's your major?
Finance and accounting.
So you can think that it really can be an aid, but maybe you don't need as many accountants and financial analysts, but those finance and analysts can really work with AI to help them. So they're basically seeing here, it wiped out all that amount. The share price went down. And then, like the stock market, a lot of times people exaggerate. But what is interesting here, that AI models can do far more than most non-techies realize. And basically, if I have something like a ChatGPT or Claude, not only can you ask it prompts, they can help you write software, launch phone apps, analyze, guess what, Julie? Analyze stock market fluctuations. So non-coders can do it too. So this is an interesting article that I wanted you to look at, that new AI tools really can help us so much. Julie, are you a coder?
No.
No. So wouldn't it nice if you want it to write some functions for you, do some financial analyst? If you know how to prompt it well, it can do it for you. So they're looking at software has to be renewed. And what's the impact on jobs that they're talking about? To do it. Okay. So if I go back to this part, so you can see, what I want you to see is that even though they talk about traditionally programming, all this AI is really turning it on its head. And this, Julie, is, I think, the most important graph or slide in the chapter. One says hardware, one says system software, and the other one says application software. The application software, give me an example, Julie, of an application software you use. Like, what am I using right now on my screen? What application software? PowerPoint, right? Word, right? When you start your morning, you go to your phone, what's the first app you look at usually? Julie?
Maybe like messages.
Okay, message. That's an app. Have you heard of apps? Of course you heard of apps. When you hear of apps, what do you think apps stand for? Application software. Right? What other apps do you use? Julie?
I use FaceTime and like Instagram.
Instagram. They're all what? Application software. Right? Anything that for school, if you use any software, it's application software. You know it is like second nature, right? Maybe you don't call it application software, but everything that you use, Julie, that's what you use. Now, system software, every hardware device has system software a lot of times another word for it, you can put it in your notes, is they'll call it an operating system. Or they'll use the 2 letters OS. So it's an operating system, and an operating system in any device, whether it's your phone, your laptop, your iPad, basically coordinates between the hardware and the application. The operating system allows the entire system to work as a whole. When I want to save something, it's part of the operating system. When I want to send it to a printer, print something, it's the operating system. When I turn on my computer or turn on my phone or turn on my iPad, the first thing that comes up in the background is system software that many times it's not in my consciousness. But an operating system, application software has to have a system software that's compatible. So when a software company writes an application software, they have to have it fitted to a certain system software, even if it's the same software. So Excel a copy of it works for one operating system. It has to make another copy for another operating system. So let's do a task. Remember last time we talked about RAM and your hard drive. How much RAM do you have and how big is your hard drive? You remember that, Rafaela? Rafael, do you remember that? So who remembers how much? Raise your hand if you remember. Noam, you remember how much RAM and hard drive space you had from last time?
Like 8 GB
8 gigabytes you had of what?
of RAM and then like 512
512 of hard
gigabytes
drive. So I
storage.
know the RAM meant what? What is usually larger, the RAM or the
The
hard disk?
storage is larger. The RAM is like the memory, like how much it can process without slowing down.
Right. So the RAM it takes a copy of the software. The operating system basically controls that, takes that software that you're using, let's say in Excel and your Excel sheet, and makes a copy into RAM. And if you, in your 8 gig, since it's relatively small, Noam, what happens is it may swap it back and forth, right, Noam? It'll have to put part of it back into the hard drive and bring it back. So it's going to be what? The processing is going to be slower. Everybody with me? And RAM is what they call, Noam, volatile. What does that mean? You remember? Noam, what does volatile mean?
I don't remember.
Okay. So look it up, right? So if you don't remember, right, we want to look up what does it mean when they say RAM is volatile?
Like unpredictable, it just changes a lot.
It changes a lot and it can be erased. So if your software program doesn't save your work and all of a sudden you get a power outage, you will lose your work in RAM. But in your hard drive, it's what they call non-volatile, meaning that it stays, it's static. Who cares? In the way that you always want to save your work and you don't want to be dependent, and all of a sudden you're going to lose your work. Everybody with me? You remember that when we talked about RAM as well. So now what the question is, an operating system I'm saying an operating system, you cannot run a computer without an operating system. It basically is there to control all the pieces of your hardware and software. So what I want, since I asked everybody last time, what RAM do you have and what hard drive do you have for hardware? So Ella Elizabeth, what do you think I should ask this time about operating systems? In the vein of the same kind of question.
Like with the RAM, like how much we have on our laptop. Is that what you're referring to?
Right. But now what I want, Ella, is to everyone to find out, this is the task for tonight, is everyone find out what is your operating system? What is the name of your operating system? And then it'll be the next thing, Ella Elizabeth, that we'll think about is who cares? Why is that going to be important? So that's the next task. Do you hear that, Lucas? The next task is you tell me what operating system you have on your machine.
Yeah, I can tell you right now.
Okay, but let's wait for everybody to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so give everybody a minute, Lucas, to figure out what is the name of your operating system and what version it has. Everybody understand the question? So you need to do that now. And then we'll go through and we'll see what everyone has. Did you understand, Audrey, what the question is? Okay. So we'll give everybody a minute. And if you don't know where it is, guess what? AI is our friend. In this class, AI is our companion. Thank goodness for AI, right? To help us when we're in trouble. Or not even trouble. We have a question. Why should I memorize everything, right? Don't you agree? But we'll see how we're going to use it.
Dr. Ash, while the students
Yeah.
are doing that, can you double check if you on your end can see the February 11th assignment? I think I got it to work, but Blackboard's been weird all day.
Hold on. Yeah. Mhm.
It should be in J. I'm uploading it to K now.
I see. Perfect. And we'll go over it soon. I'll have you help me. Okay, so Lucas, what operating system do you have?
Mine's called Sequoia 15.6. That's the Mac one.
Okay, so what does that mean? So I bet you have a Mac, right?
Yeah.
What kind of computer you have? Mac what?
MacBook Air.
MacBook Air. So you have Mac OS. And what does OS stand for, Lucas? You're on a roll.
Operating system.
Operating system, right? It's an operating system, Mac OS, and the version, and you can think, where is Apple located? In California, right? So they named a lot of their versions of their operating systems, their secondary versions with names in California. Okay, so you got Sequoia and it's Mac OS. Okay, who else found it? Raise your hand. You found what you have. Raise your hand. If you found what you, another one. Michael, did you find one, your operating system? Michael, Anthony? Why not?
I just couldn't find it.
Well, how can you find it out? What kind of computer you have?
The MacBook,
Okay, have you ever used ChatGPT?
yeah, all the time.
Okay, so why don't you ask it? Tell it what kind of computer you have, right? And how can I find out what? What operating system I have? Okay, Isabella, did you find? What do you have?
It's just telling me I have like a Mac OS Sonoma version
Okay,
14.6.1.
okay. Mac OS. What is OS, Isabella? Stand for? Operating system, right? The OS is operating system. It's like a second nature. Now, when you see it on the test, right, OS, you're going to know or hear it. Oh, that's the operating system. And it's Sonoma. Sonoma is in California too. one of my favorite cities in California. And in this case, that's the version. And what did you get, Sully?
I had the same as Lucas. I
Okay,
had Mac OS Sequoia.
okay. So in different versions, they have it. And Julie?
I have the macOS Sequoia 15.6.
And Noam?
Mine says the Mac OS Tahoe 26.2.
Okay. I like Tahoe too. Anybody been to Tahoe? Lovely. Okay. So you see all this, but who cares? Anyone have Windows? Anna, what do you have? What operating system do you have?
Yeah, I have Windows
What version?
11.
Windows 11. So it's great. I have Anna, who has Windows 11. Anyone else have Windows, or Anna's the only one? Anna with Windows 11, and some other people have Mac OS, different flavors. You can think about different flavors. So my question to you is, Anna, who cares? And if you're in business and you're going to develop some software, you want to load some software, who cares whether you have a Windows or a Mac? The idea is that all manufacturers of software basically conform to what operating system exists. So they create a copy, let's say, of Excel for Mac OS, and they create another version of Excel for Windows. And even in Windows, it could be Windows 10 or 11. Sometimes they work on the different versions. The same software is basically legacy inherited, so they will work in all. So it's different versions. So if you're going for your company and you're saying, I'm going to purchase then Excel, you have to know what your hardware is and what operating system your folks have before you purchase it. You got that, Anna? So that's the operating system. Now, if we're on the same roll, how many people have iPhones in the class? Raise your hand. Okay, I see a lot. Anyone not have an iPhone? Unmute yourself and let me know. Does everyone just have iPhones? It's like sort of a standard. So the question on an exam would be, does then your phone have an operating system? What do you think? What do you think, Michael? Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you find, Michael Anthony, your operating system?
Not on my phone, but wouldn't it have to do something
On
with
your computer? Would
Oh
you
yeah, it's this Sonoma 14.4.
Okay, not a big deal, right? No big shakes, you can find it out, right? So that's it. So the question is, does your phone then have an operating system? And the answer has to be what? Of course, Jack, what?
Yeah, it has the iOS.
It has iOS. It has to have an operating system. If you had a Samsung, if you had a Google phone, does that have to have, Jack, an operating system?
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
But guess what? A Samsung or a Google phone, does it have the same operating system as Apple?
Nah, definitely not.
No. So guess what? For the same application, if we created an app to run on phones, Jack, we would have to make a different version to run on basically iOS and the version that runs on Samsung and Google.
Yeah.
And what's the version that runs on Samsung and Google? Who can tell me what's its name? It's either going to be iOS or what?
Isn't it AOS?
Mm-mm. It starts with an A. You could look it up, right?
Android?
Android. Any question I ask, guess what? Is it acceptable to basically prompt ask AI, Isabella? Yeah, so it is. So basically, Ella, it's Android. And who cares? It's basically a different operating system that resides on other phones like a Samsung or a Pixel, a Google phone. And in order to do that, then it's going to be the operating system, then you have to go and download the appropriate ones. And that's the key. And what are they doing? Each version, what are they trying to do? Is they're trying to make it more efficient. And guess what? On your phone, a lot of times, what? Do you have RAM on your phone? Lucas, what do you think?
Yeah,
Do you have?
probably.
Yes, of course. Of course. You have internal, you have RAM, and you may even have external. But you need to have RAM because what? Lucas, it works the same. When you have an app, that app, when you're using it, it's running where? It's running in RAM. RAM on your phone or RAM on your laptop or RAM on mainframe or RAM on a supercomputer. They all are the same functions. It's just that they've shrunk it down. And in terms of the amount of computational efforts I have to do, think about it. ChatGPT, of course, you've used Lucas ChatGPT. Am I correct?
Yes.
How fast do you get answers from it? Pretty fast. How do they do it? They have it on their servers. They need to have a lot of RAM, and they need to process a lot of data. That's why there's that demand on all those chips that we talked about before. And the processing of the CPUs, the GPUs. There's something called even NPUs, which are neural, that have to go and process the data. We're all right. So that is the main function of the readings in chapter 2. And what is happening now is AI is flipping everything on its head, thinking, hey, before I needed to write software, I needed to have programmers to spend 6 months doing it. And now I can cut that time in such a small amount, and I don't need 6 people doing it or 10 people. I can cut it down, and even people that are non-technical can get software created. Okay? So, my TA, do you want me to share the screen, or do you want to share your screen? What would you prefer? So we can go over the assignment.
I think it's better if you share the screen.
Okay, fine. No problem.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do that. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Let's see if it'll work. See if this will work. I have to stop sharing. I always have issues, right? Okay. But let's do this. Let me share my screen. Share. Do you see my PowerPoint, Anastasia?
I don't, but I think my internet just might be really bad and it might
Julie, do you see my PowerPoint? I may have to share again.
Yeah, I see the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Now I'm going to minimize my PowerPoint. I'm going to go to my regular course, and I'm going to the what's due section. Everybody see that? And in the what's due section, we see now that we have a new assignment doing a week from next week. So we have the readings of that. I don't have to go over with another chapter. And then I went over already the AI models of reading this link. This next assignment is 2 parts. It's part 1 that's individual and part 2, which is group. And what I want you to do for the next assignment is to research and find another screen recording assignment. So if I look at this now, do you guys know how to record? Anna, you know how to record using what so far in this class?
We know how to like record on Zoom to the cloud and then local recordings and live stream on YouTube.
So I know how to record in Zoom to the cloud and getting a link, and it's stored. That recording is stored where? It's recording everything I've done, and it's recording it to Zoom's server somewhere in the world. And in order for somebody to see it, they need internet access, or I can record it locally onto one's own computer. And it produced an MP4 file. And then I can pass it on to everyone, and I don't even need internet access to get it. What I'd like us to do in our toolkit, in our tool chest, is to add some more tools. So what I'd like everyone to do for the next assignment is to research and find a free screen recording software that will do something similar to Zoom, but will also be different. I want you to find it that it's free, but it could have a paid version. And I'd like to see that it has AI features in it. So what could you do, Michael, is if you were looking for something like that, you can open up ChatGPT and say, what? I'm looking for an AI free screen recorder, right? That what operating system that you have that works on a Mac. And Anna would say it works on Windows. And give me recommendations of what's going to be, for instance, Michael, for to document business applications that's simple to use, and give you a list. And then I want everyone in your group to choose a different one. You got that, Ella Elizabeth? So everyone will have a different one. And what's the nice part of it? And then create a basically like product review, short and sweet, using that software as a product review, talking about what it runs on. Does it run on Windows? Does it run on Mac? What, and you say, Michael, I only have Mac. What do I care about Windows? It's good to see, because if it runs on Windows, maybe other people in your organization would want to see it too. And then you want to say, what's the difference? And maybe what the AI features do. Give it like a software review. And then after you do that, I want you to then meet with your group, similar to what you did for the other assignment, and basically have each person show off their own software screen recorder. So Michael, what could happen then is you could be then familiar with not only the one that you did in detail, but let's say 3 others, and then do a reflection on it. So Anastasia, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go to my audit assignment instructions. And I'm going, you see, this is under a folder. And we'll start with the first one, which is part 1. And you want to go through the rubric, Anastasia?
Yes, I will go through it.
And then you can explain to them.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't think there's any point in going specifically step by step. You guys can read.
Right.
But Essentially, you're gonna, as Dr. Rush said, choose an AI screen recording program. It should be free. There might be like a free trial period that works too, but try to find a free one. And then follow the steps. Set up to record the whole screen. Audio and video is preferable. Start recording via the program and do not stop recording until finished with the whole assignment. Now, some of you will have to troubleshoot the app because it's a new app or it's glitching. Reach out to me if you have any issues. I might know how to troubleshoot the app, but if you're using an app that's brand new that I've never used before, I might not be able to help you. Please just Google the issues that you're facing with that app. And then you're going to discuss a few things that the instructions tell you to. So whether the tool is available for Windows, Mac, Linux, open source, closed source, cloud, or locally. So all of these steps you're going to talk about. Then while you're still recording your screen, you're going to start a Zoom meeting. You're going to show some of the features on Zoom. If you want, you can also record through Zoom to see the differences between the two recordings. And this is just to show that there are other ways of recording your screen, which can be useful in different scenarios. Then you can end all recordings that you have going, and then you're going to submit. I repeat my comments from last class. Please follow the specific instructions for submission. A lot of you are getting silly points off for not putting your name where your name should be type of thing. So please be careful with that. And the steps for submission are below with everything written out in detail.
And what I suggest right here, Anastasia, is they can look at your sample. So what's important is when you're save the date, time, your name, and then your screen recording in its name too. So just not put the word screen recording, put screen recording, and let's say you're using Loom or you're using Komodo. And then if the cloud, you're going to do this. So you can see then, for instance, in this case, it was the date, right? The time, the student, she put a group number and screen recording. She used OBS, MP4. And
Yes.
right.
So, yeah, I can talk a little bit more on this. Please follow that format specifically. So if it says name, you don't have to put last name, comma, first name. It just says name. You can use your first name. But date and time, please follow the format of the screenshot attached. Again, as Dr. Rush mentioned, please put the app that you're using, and then all these things. So, the name of the app, if it costs anything, like free trial, you can put free trial ends after 1 month. Open source, closed source, showcase. So showcase is that AI companion section. Please do not paste the entire email. It should be 1 to maybe 3 lines at most. It's just the bullet points that you get in your email after the Zoom meeting is done. So that being said, please don't forget to turn on AI companion when you start your Zoom meeting, because otherwise you will
So
not.
you can see here, there's enough, make sure that every group can even just do that even now. Make an individual screen recording assignment folder, and we'll get to the second one. So you can see right here, just the same thing of the price, the open source or closed source. And the idea of open source, what does open source mean? That it basically is in writing the program, can others edit the program? Or closed source, a lot of times it means that it's proprietary and no one can edit it. What was showcased? What were the takeaways? This is the sample one. Okay. And in the second part is the group screen recording. Part 2 is when you meet in the group. So you want to talk about this?
Yes, I'm pulling up the instructions now, but it's a very similar process to the first time. Oh, I also forgot to mention, please make sure that you guys are using different programs within your group. Right. No 2 people should be using the same program. That you will not get credit for that. The second part of this assignment is essentially doing the exact same thing as you were doing in a group. So I believe that the instructions, again, I'm pulling them up now, they're loading, but oh yeah, they're on your screen. You're just gonna separate your duties of talking about different things. Up to you guys which app you use. You
So
can use the
bas-
same assignment, same app from the assignment one, or if you absolutely hated it, you can switch your app. Just, write about that, and then yeah, you're gonna record through Zoom as well. So there are going to be two recordings submitted. There's going to be one recording from Zoom for the group, and then there's going to be four submissions for the link for personal recordings. And then again, you're going to live stream to YouTube through Zoom. And you're just going to follow these instructions again. So present recording software. You can share your screen via the Zoom and show your individual software. This doesn't have to be a 15-minute thing. Take 2-3 minutes each to show the app you're using, kind of like pros, cons, how to use it, what you like, what you don't like, what's hard, what's easy about it. If it's open source, closed source, if it records cloud or locally.
And what are the features and why would you want to use that over like doing the Zoom recordings? So it's an opportunity for everyone to present in your group and to teach everyone in your group about your software. So everybody doesn't have to do 4 different softwares. Each one, it's basically dividing up the work and then sharing it as a group. Okay.
Right, yeah. And then so follow those steps for the actual recording and then the submission. Very similar thing. I think one person can actually submit it except for the links, just everyone has to paste their
Right.
links. Same thing as the individual assignment. Please follow the instructions to a T.
So you can see in this case, for instance, the attached files, right? The group, the YouTube live, individual recordings. And then you can see, make sure that you let everyone know of what everyone is using, what was showcased, the takeaways, and the challenges and the solutions. And then if I go back, I go back to my assignment groups, and under my assignment groups, under group 0, make sure then on your second one, right here, this is new, is right at your folder. When you put the screen recording group assignment, put everyone that was at your recording and which software they use. So this way we easily can look at everyone's, each group, and see what they've used. Okay. And what I suggest is if you've used any of these before, pick another one so you have more versatility. Also, what I would like you to research are more of the newer ones, and some of the even the more traditional ones are having more AI features to them. Anything else, Anastasia?
Nothing specific that I can think of. Just learning from the first assignment, guys, don't wait until Tuesday to reach out to me saying that you're not able to do anything because your computer is like flooded or something. That I can't do anything on Tuesday. If you reach out to me ahead of time, we can extend your assignment, we can help you out, we can help you troubleshoot. Just do not wait until the last minute.
Yeah,
And please
and also
double
this needs to be
check.
with the group too. So you really need to be, what you really need is you have to be on it, because before you meet with your group, you have to have done the individual assignment completely before you meet with the group. And then it should go easy. And it's a way of almost, when you're with the group, is to teach them what you liked and not. And it's almost a review. You don't have to be, this was difficult. I didn't like this. This was really useful. I saw that I could do. Any questions? So Sully, any questions in the group, or you have?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you see the idea, how we're doing stepwise, and now we're gonna have more tools in our tool chest. And now, the next time when we do a group and somebody has to stream live, right, it's gonna be a lot easier. We've already, Sully, right, we've already accomplished the YouTube problems, and we just can go for it. Okay, anything else? So let's do this. Can you put in the chat the attendance? Can you do attendance, Anastasia?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Okay. So Zoya, any questions, comments that you have? Pretty straightforward?
Nope, pretty straightforward.
Okay, perfect.
The attendance code is in the chat for everyone. I unfortunately cannot share my screen because my computer is not allowing me to for some reason, but the code is 8232.
Oh, I had a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Yesterday I was in class, but I had to go last minute, like right before you ended it.
Do you mean Monday?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was last class. Yeah, Monday. Is there any way I can get attendance for that class? Because like if you check, I was definitely in class.
Yeah, I'll check the Zoom records.
All right, no worries.
Yeah, I'll check
Thank
the
you.
Zoom records, and if you were there, yeah, I'll give you credit.
All right, thank you so much. I was probably in the meeting. I had to go take care of something, so I had to turn off my camera at the very, very end.
You're good. Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
double check that.
We did
Thank you.
polls, so we'll be able to see as well.
Yeah.
You know, the polls that we did, Jacob?
Yeah, I'll double
Yeah.
check that.
So we'll be seeing your responses. It's all documented.
Dr. Rush,
Yeah,
I'm starting my own company and I wanted to tell you about how I use AI to
okay. You gotta
basically
use it.
streamline everything that I do. I thought you'd find that interesting.
Yeah, it should be. And if you didn't, I'd say
Hey, Rush, do you want to
you're
stop
missing a
recording?
big. Yeah, but it's okay. I think it'll be interesting. You want to share it with the cloud recording, or do you want me to shut off, Sally?
Oh, it's either works for me.
Okay, so let me shut off anyways. Never know any of the other things. So I'm going to stop recording.